Welcome back. Time for some sport now, and here's Stuart.
Yes, thanks. And the Cricket World Cup seems to be really hitting its stride now. Following on from Ireland's amazing win over England, we've had another classic match featuring one of the World Cup minnows. Ray Cooker watched Canada's brave effort at taking down Pakistan.
Surely lightning couldn't strike twice, but just 24 hours after Ireland's shock victory over England, Canada's bowlers were also proving a point for the Associate Nations. This time it was Pakistan feeling the heat, as Canada, the lowest ranked side in the tournament, who had lost their two previous matches by a combined total of 385 runs, suddenly decided to up their game in some style, bowling out Pakistan for just 184. Canada's batsmen looked like pulling off a dramatic win when Jimmy Hansra brought up 100 with a 6. They needed just 81 runs off 106 balls, with 7 wickets in hand. But a captain's performance from Shahid Afridi, who took 5 wickets, ended the fairy tale, and Canada were eventually bowled out for 138. 46 runs short, a final score that, as Pakistan's relief showed, didn't really tell the whole story. The day's other game was far more one-sided. South Africa's AB de Villiers hit his second successive century as his team crushed the Netherlands by 231 runs. Ray Cooker, AlJazeera.
Now, Ireland's win over England has blown Group B at the World Cup wide open. Next up, it's Bangladesh against the West Indies in the Bangladeshi capital, Dhaka. The home side have already lost to India but did beat Ireland, a result that suddenly looks a lot more impressive. Now it's the West Indies in a meeting between the 8th and 9th ranked sides in the world, clearly vital in the battle to reach the quarter-finals.
Yes, we have to play good cricket, and if we win, that will be a very good result for us. It will take us another step forward to the quarter-final, so we're looking forward to our next game.
Some shock news from the English Premier League. Manchester City defender Kolo Touré has failed a drugs test. A statement on the Manchester City website says the Ivory Coast international has been suspended after testing positive for a specified substance. Touré, who joined from Arsenal for £14 million 2 years ago, could face anything up to a 2-year ban if found guilty. The postponed Bahrain Grand Prix, which was originally scheduled as the first race of the new Formula One season a week on Sunday, is now likely to take place in November. That's according to Formula One's boss, Bernie Ecclestone. The race was called off by the Crown Prince of Bahrain 2 weeks ago, thanks to the ongoing civil unrest in his country. Ecclestone has ruled out staging the race in the mid-season break in August and is considering moving the final race of the season in Brazil back a week to accommodate a rearranged Bahrain Grand Prix. The decision will be announced next Tuesday. And that's all the sport. Back to you.
Now, as pressure mounts on Silvio Berlusconi, the woman at the centre of the sex scandal that could see the Italian government fall is taking on a new role. The woman known as Ruby is set to become the belle of the Vienna Opera Ball. Imran Khan has more.
She's the belle of the ball, known simply as Ruby, her stage name. Karima El Makhroug is now a celebrity in her own right, holding court with stars of stage and screen. But her rise to fame hasn't been without controversy. The Italian Prime Minister, Silvio Berlusconi, is alleged to have had an intimate relationship with a woman and is facing charges of paying for sex with an underage prostitute. She was then 17 years old. They're charges that she denies. For a coming-out ball, Ruby could not have picked a more opulent forum. The Vienna Opera Ball is one of the highlights of the world's social calendar. And she's the guest of a 78-year-old construction magnate, Richard Lugner, seen here raising his top hat. His past dates have attracted controversy. Hotel heiress and socialite Paris Hilton was one of them. But as dates go, Ruby looks likely to outdo them all. If the Italian Prime Minister is found guilty, it'll bring down the country's government. But given the smile on her face, Ruby seems to be much more interested in becoming famous as Ruby than in international politics. Imran Khan, AlJazeera.
And thanks for joining us here on Al Jazeera. I will be back with more updates on our top stories in just a few moments. But Everton's here with the world weather next. We'll see you in a moment. Stay with us. Thank you for watching.
over the north of Beijing, as the visibility drops, you'll still see things with perfect clarity.
Hello, would you believe we have yet another winter storm making its way across the United States? Big area of cloud just piling its way through the plains. That's heading towards the Great Lakes. We've got quite a keen southerly wind coming in, actually, and that's going to continue just nudging its way a little further northwards, pushing the warm, moist air, the damp weather, into the cold air, and that's why it's readily turning to snow just around the Midwest into that northeastern corner. Temperatures are recovering with those southerly winds, around 6 Celsius there for New York, creeping into double figures for DC, but as you can see for eastern Canada, I think you are looking more in the way of snow to come here. Some snow too, a possibility over the mountain states. Wet and windy weather will creep its way into the Pacific Northwest, into BC as we go through Friday into Saturday. Notice we're warming up there for LA, temperatures getting up to around 23 Celsius. Should stay largely dry here over the next couple of days. Largely dry too across the islands of the Caribbean. I think for the Leeward Islands you could see some sharp showers, some wet weather there too into Panama, maybe Nicaragua, Costa Rica also seeing a little bit of damp weather over the next couple of days. We come into Europe and here the damp weather is really concentrated across central parts of the Mediterranean. It's been very wet, very windy here recently. That will continue to be the case, but drier and brighter further north.
Qatar Airways, world's 5-star airline.
احنا الجزيرة الإنجليزية عم نسأل الناس ليش جايين اليوم.
Wherever the news, whatever the story. AlJazeera.
Libya's opposition forces boost their defense positions in anticipation of another onslaught. Hello, I'm Divi Gopalan. It's good to have you with us. You're watching Al Jazeera live from Doha. Also in this program, leaving Libya en masse. Thousands of foreign workers are on their way out after weeks of fighting. Plus, escalating violence in Côte d'Ivoire puts it back in the UN sights. And Egypt moves a step closer to forming a government with the appointment of a new prime minister.